Alright, hello there. My name is Elrock617. Back here with another submission video. This time for the original arcade port of the IROM classic Vigilante. For those unfamiliar with Vigilante, it's a 1988 release that was intended to be a spiritual successor to the Kung Fu slash Spartan X franchise. And it's definitely my favorite game in that franchise. I have so much fun with this game. Learned the run for a multi-arcade game race back in December, and out of the 5 games that we were to play, it was the first one I 1CC'd, and it was definitely my favorite to play. This game has, in the past year, been released as a home port for both the Switch and the PS4, possibly the Xbox One as well, but I don't own one, so I honestly don't keep track of that. For this submission showcase video today, I have simply done a run using a arcade emulator. I don't have either of my HDMI consoles set up at this time, but it essentially runs the same. We're also going to be running the Japanese ROM version. The reason being is because the Switch and PS4 Arcade Archive downloads only support the Japanese ROM set. I'm not sure why this decision was made to not include the US ROM set, even though there are pretty distinct differences between the two, and the runs are almost certainly completely different for a number of reasons. I can go into those, but for the game itself, I actually, as mentioned before, I'm a very big fan of this game. I very much enjoy it. And I think it has enough great memes to make it a good choice for Silly Block. So let's go ahead and get that started. This is a run I recorded just before this recording, just to make sure I could get something solid. It only features one mistake that could be considered major, but it didn't sabotage the run in any way. So we'll go ahead and do that. Start the timer. Time starts as soon as you press start. The skinheads have taken Madonna hostage. Take the law into your own hands. So, pretty standard story. Our girlfriend's been kidnapped. We gotta go get her back from this gang. First meme we have is good friends. The marquees in this game are amazing. Start off with some low kicks. I'm gonna take the nunchuck. Oh, check out I'm a big and oh big. Don't know who Maria is, but she got her own sign, so clearly she's great. The nunchuck, we get to take out some of the minimal enemies pretty quickly. First major difference between US and Japan, the non-minion enemies are going to take less hits to kill. Like that red guy would take 4 hits to kill here as opposed to 6 in US. We're going to deflect that bullet, walk up to our first boss, get this guy out of our way, and this is the only quick kill on a boss in the game. When you hit him with the crouching nunchuck while he's prone, he goes into a stun lock state where he takes damage in every single frame of an attack. So you just keep doing low kicks, mashing it, and it just completely drains its health. It's really neat. Big fan of that. Fan is carrying Madonna to their turf, the Junkyard. This stage is pretty simple. This wasn't one of the best RNG showcases of it, but it's still a pretty funny stage to watch. That hit's fine. We lost nunchucks, but it's whatever. It's just chalked up to bad luck for me to lose that much time for it. But in this stage, the enemies with the billy clubs are never going to be able to approach us from the left. We just get to keep walking right. The guy with the wife beater gets in the way. We got to take him out, taking the nunchucks to the next stage as well. You can see nunchuck attacks are very good. They just don't do a lot of damage. And that'll be important later around like stage 4 or so. For our boss fight, this is actually going to be the best time to utilize for donations. It's essentially just a loop. You wait for them to jump off the vehicle, leap at you, juggle them, get 2 hits, and then repeat. It's a pretty RNG heavy fight because sometimes only one jumps at you, whereas sometimes both of them jump at you. As many double jumps as you can get is optimal, but you have no control over that. Also, while they're not jumping at you, or while they're not in a jump state, they're completely invincible. So, like, if they're over there on the left, I can't approach them and try to kick them or anything like that. So yeah, perfect time for some donations as I just go through the motions. It's a bit of a time drain, but overall it's a pretty simple fight, and it's a good time to get to talk about people who are kind enough to donate to this lovely event. Good trip there. Really unfortunate last cycle. I really didn't like the fact that the guy was willing to stay invincible for the whole duration and go back up to the top of the vehicle. But that happens. It's just part of the game. The van is heading for the bridge. Her time is running out. So this is the first stage I can actually consider to be difficult. For the opening volley, we had these motorcycles are going to chase us. We had to do jump kicks to take them out. Those are pretty precisely timed. If one approaches from the right, I actually will take the hit because then they can't rebound. And the reason that's big is because we lose half our health which means it doesn't count down at the end of the stage. We lose frames for that. Yeah, that also being the other major difference between the US and Japanese version. The US version, you don't count down health, so it's a bit harder when your health has to retain between stages. But I think you save more frames by faster killing those enemies from 6 hits to 4. So for our boss, we're just going to pin him up against the wall and just go for all these kicks. Pretty simple fight. It's really funny to watch. Whether he blocks or whether he gets hit is entirely up to him. I'm trying to think of how to explain this in terms of luck. The RNG is almost always 50-50. I've never really had it go great, particularly. Never had it go bad either, though. But yeah, you just keep kicking him in the throat. There's one small downside here. If you mess up your timing on the kicks, he actually can jump out of it, and you lose time that way, and you have to switch to a backup strat. But that time it worked out for us. On to stage 4, which is significant for being the hardest, not only the hardest stage in the game, but also has the first appearance of a glitch in the game that's going to be really fun to showcase. You still have not rescued her. The skinheads are heading downtown. For this stage, it's very important that we are able to maintain the nunchucks because of the difficulty. The enemy count in this stage is just absurd. There are so many enemies that are willing to show up and ruin your day. As you can see, these sprite flicker enemies coming in here. Gotta make sure they don't approach you. The guy with the red hair we really don't care about. Almost got hit there. That would have been really bad. Another quick thing. We're approaching our boss, and I actually want to lose the nunchucks here, so I'm going to take an intentional hit. Didn't want to take that much damage, but didn't wiggle out in time. So for a stage 4 boss, the reason we don't want nunchucks is because nunchucks do half the damage that a punch does. So that would take 14 nunchuck hits to bring him down, whereas it only takes 7 punches. It's just faster to lose your weapon. Also, I can't call this boss anything but King Hippo, thanks to one of my followers. So we're going to go for a bunch of low kicks on King Hippo here. This is also the backup strat on the stage 3 boss. Do try one different strat at one point. I think I go for a standing kick where I try to get him, yeah, like that. A downfall ended up being the fact that I went for it again, and don't know why I jumped. I was trying to move forward to try to re-loop the low kick, but it didn't work out. So anyway, here's our glitch. This actually costs time, but it's really funny. So we're gonna basically walk up to the elevator, jump forward, mash kick, and then jump back left to screw up the scripting because the stage can't end. But then it gets the animation off of the elevator, and then we get this little phantom platform raise here. Looks really funny. I think it'd be great to show to a crowd. It's just, it's really goofy. I like it a lot. It doesn't cost that much time either, and it certainly wouldn't hurt an estimate. Estimate looking to be about 10 minutes, I think. Anyway, here we have our best memes. As I refer to the stage, the jazz performance act at bottom line. Would be great to be able to play this game on November 20th, just because of the date there. For these guys, we're just going to kick them as they approach. It's better to make sure that they're dead before they can reach the platform. Sometimes they spawn behind and we have to do stuff like that. Did get a little bit of bad luck here with the gun guy. Normally he appears on the top and we don't see him until right before the boss, but it's bad RNG, it happens. So for our boss, this is by far the most random thing in the game. Get a lot of quotes from him. The most consistent quote in the game, that one right there. So how this works is, when he taunts us, he's going to attempt to try to hit us. We cause him to whiff the kick, then walk back up and we get a random number of hits. And by random number of hits, I literally mean it is completely random how many hits you get on this guy. You can get as few as 0. I think I've gotten as many as 27 hits in a row, where he just goes non-invincible the whole time. For this fight in particular, I didn't get a whole lot of hits in a given segment. I think the most I had was like 11 or 12, but essentially all we're doing is we're just chasing him back. Making sure we get our hits in. See there, we didn't get a hit at all. It happens from time to time. It is a cost of time, of course, which, you know, speed runs, but it's what it is. It makes the fight exciting. Especially because we're pushing for 1cc at all times. If you miss the whiff, as you saw earlier, that kick doing that much damage, if that happens too many times, you can really get trolled. And speaking of getting trolled, he trolls in the final hit there. He also gets a health increase as the fight goes on. So anyway, to end the game, we're going to go for our last glitch here. Hit the lever. We're going to do a similar bit of script manipulation here. While Madonna gets lowered on the hook. And oh my god, she's gone! What happened? Oh no, we lost our girlfriend after coming all this way. Only one thing left to do, and oh, there she is. Time happens when you catch her, so you were forced to delay the end of the game to do that. So without the glitches, that would have probably been a sub 8, and sub 8's a really good run, but I think showing off glitches like that is just really, really funny, and I think for that reason and all the sign memes alone and the goofiness of the enemies with their silly quotes, like I said, I think this would be a great slot for silly block, possibly even for an arcade block, and it would be good promotion for the game on modern consoles. Everybody's got a Switch now, so I think it would be cool to showcase this one in case people ever wanted to pick it up. It's a really fun game. It's a really goofy game. It's 1980s. Almost like the Warriors on game mode there. So anyway, that's gonna end it out. Again, love this game. Can finish in under 10 minutes. Has some really funny strats and some really cool strats too. I particularly love the fast kill on the stage 1 boss. But with a sub 10 estimate and a 728 PB, I think this would make a really good marathon showcase. So really hope you all appreciated and enjoyed that, and I will catch you all next time. This is El Rock signing off.